Millennial money tips for Gen Z. What does it even mean? Who is Gen Z? Sounds like a pharmaceutical drug. Anyway, if you're in Gen Z, you're probably younger than me, so I've got some money tips for you, some things I would do differently, and some things I would absolutely do again the same if given the chance. Let's get to work. What's up, friend? I'm Kay Scholl. Welcome to another financial awareness video. If you're trying to make better financial decisions, grow your wealth and financial literacy, then you're in the right spot. So this video was inspired by an article from September of 2019 that I stumbled across on the Yahoo Finance website called Millennial Money Tips for Gen Z. Link in the description below. If you're among the oldest Gen Z'er, that means you're 23 years old right now. And if you're 23 years old watching personal finance videos on YouTube, then well done. I'm proud of you. But my hunch is that most of the people watching this will be millennials trying to hit the reset button on their finances, or maybe a Gen Xer that has a kid in college. The article goes on to describe 5 tips and shares a couple stories from either a millennial or a Gen Z'er. And in my opinion, although the article had really good intentions, it fell woefully short of having enough meat on the bone for someone in their early 20s to actually take action on some of these tips. So I'll review the 5 tips and we'll share some additional insights based on my 15 years of speaking with people about their personal financial successes and financial mistakes. And I'll share some information from my financial journey as well. Unless you were born under a rock, most people have heard the term millennials by now. These are people that are currently aged 24 to 39 years old. That's right, some of these millennials are approaching the age of dinosaurs. This article caught my eye because I was so confused who Gen Z was. I thought they were called the iGen, but maybe the Android people got offended and they had to change it back to Gen Z. Anyway, Gen X still holds first place for the name branding of recent generations. Gen Y was so bad that the brilliant marketing and people in the advertising industry had to rename us to millennials. But solid job, because that one stuck. No, I am not 39 years old, but my qualifications as a tenured millennial are quite obvious. As you can clearly see, I am bald. So if I was talking to myself at 22 or 23, here's what I would say. Tip number 1, don't live beyond your means. This is common sense, but it's more easily said than done. Living beyond how much money you make is when you spend more money than what hits your checking account each paycheck. This can be easily avoided a number of different ways, but here are the best 2. Number 1, automate your 401k contributions. And if you don't have an employer-sponsored plan, automate your Roth IRA contributions. Now, if you're a Gen Zer between the age of 18 and 23, and you are phased out of being able to do a Roth IRA, good job. I'm proud of you. Personally speaking, I have saved money out of every single paycheck since the time I was 22 and got my first job out of college. If I had to repeat my life over again, that is absolutely a habit I would continue. It is a way easier habit to start if you start with paycheck number 1, because that's when you adapt to your new normal of receiving paychecks. Number 2, when your paycheck hits your checking account, pay yourself first. Set up weekly automatic transfers from checking to savings. Doesn't matter how much money you make, this could be $10 a week or $100 a week. As long as you can be strong and not touch your savings unless it is a true emergency, this will guarantee that you always have enough money in the bank for anything unexpected that comes up. And you'll also be able to purchase your first home sooner rather than later. Even when you have a decent emergency fund, keep saving up the cash. This will allow you to cash flow your vacations before you go on them, help with down payments on vehicles, and will help with larger regular expenses like buying 4 new tires when you need them. Now, if you are unable to do either of these, then you have one of 2 problems. You either have a revenue problem and you don't make enough money, or you have an expense problem and you spend too much money. Both are solvable problems. This is not a how to make more money video, but that is the Captain Obvious answer to your lack of revenue. If you have an expense problem, then you're in a pickle, but it is way easier to fix that problem because you can control how much money you spend way more easily than controlling how much money you make. If you're 22 or 23 and that sounds like you, then you're simply discovering how much life actually costs, and welcome to adulthood. And please be sure to subscribe to this channel to get some deeper insights on helping you navigate your financial journey. Go call your parents and tell them how much you appreciate them, because you'll now be learning firsthand how challenging life can be to try to have a little fun for yourself while giving your children an enjoyable life. I'm serious though. Go call your parents and say thank you. My parents were great, but my older brother taught me the value of $1. When we were both in high school together, his first car was a beat-up Jeep Grand Wagoneer. That sucker got less than 8 miles to the gallon, and whenever I needed him to take me anywhere, he charged me gas money. I'm not joking. But that same older brother also got me a copy of Rich Dad Poor Dad when I was in high school. So, thanks, bro. Tip number 2, build a budget and stick to it as strictly as possible. Again, this is easier said than done. Building a budget is the easy part. Sticking to it is the hard part. So let's address both. First off, building a budget. Link in the description down below for a video on how to build a budget. That's the easy part. Done. The hard part about sticking to a budget is putting that item back on the shelf when you're shopping. This could mean anything from clothing to food, but this also means don't purchase that car if you can't afford the payment. Buying that fancier, more expensive car also means putting higher octane gas in your car and larger monthly auto insurance payments. So make sure you fully understand how important that car is to you, because you don't want the car to own you, you want to own the car, and there is a difference. Sticking to your budget also becomes more challenging when peer pressure is involved. Your friends are going to want to go on vacations and go out to dinner and have drinks, and all of those things are awesome, but not at the expense of your financial sanity. More on that in a moment. Tip number 3, build an emergency fund. My wife uses words like always and never way too frequently, and unfortunately, it's rubbed off on me. So, there will always be something more fun and more cool than just shoving money into your savings account, but you have to have an emergency fund. Start off with $1,000 as your first goal and work yourself up to 3 to 6 months of expenses from there. Now, if you have a sales-oriented job or really any occupation with an irregular income, real estate, then you'll want to err on the side of caution and have a 6 to 12 month emergency fund. Side note, I'm curious to see, because of what's happening in the economy right now, how many realtors leave that industry for a regular paying job. That is a classic example of why, if you have a sales-oriented occupation, you need to have a beefed up emergency fund so that you can weather the business cycles when business slows down, so that you can remain in business for the long haul. Tip number 4, resist lifestyle creep. Fun fact, until your friends grow up and start to demonstrate some maturity, peer pressure will still be a thing, and it could never go away depending on who your friends are. So you have to decide for yourself how you will deal with it. It usually starts off with whose parents bought them the Power Wheels growing up. Then it was which house had the best snack food, who has the best gaming console, who threw the better party, what college did you get into, what job did you get, what car do you drive, where do you vacation, how often do you vacation, how big is your house, how much money do you have, how much money do you make, my kid accomplished this, my kid accomplished that, my kid goes to private school, my kid got into this school. It never ends. So if you're in Gen Z and you're 22, 23 years old, just getting started, you need to decide right now how you are going to resist the temptation of lifestyle creep, also known as keeping up with the Joneses, because in certain parts of the country, it still exists today. Anyway, moving on. Another way to avoid lifestyle creep is preventing yourself from spending all of your money when you get bonuses and when you get raises. So when that happens the next time, save half and spend half. Because what's the point of working hard, putting in the long hours, first one to the office, last one to leave, late night emails, business trips where you miss personal loved ones and events? What's the point of all of that if you can't enjoy life a little bit? So to prevent too much lifestyle creep, save half, spend half. Very similar to what I just said, another way to avoid too much lifestyle creep is when you get your next pay raise, you should increase your 401k contributions. This would be very similar to putting some bumper rails in your life so that no matter what happens, you are forcing yourself to make some good decisions. As you get paid more money, you should save more money. If you find any value throughout this video, hit that like button. That one simple action by you will result in someone else becoming more financially aware to make smart, educated decisions about their finances. Tip number 5, pay off your credit card balance each month. This is a great tip, highly recommend it, but it's a little bit difficult to do if you have a revenue or an income problem. So go back and watch tip number 1 and 2 again and do what you can to improve your credit score. However, the article literally ends on a whammy. The reporter quotes the millennial who admits she's 35 years old and is still paying off credit card purchases that she made when she was 26. That's 9 years of paying off something that she bought when she was 26. Let that sink in. Just a friendly reminder, these are money tips from millennials to Gen Zers who are between the age of 18 and 23 right now. Among the many things my dad has taught me growing up throughout life has been to learn from the mistakes of others and try not to repeat those same mistakes yourself. So from one millennial to a Gen Zer, pay your credit card balance off in full, and if you can't, pay it off as fast as you can and don't wait 9 years. The decisions you make today will impact your financial future for tomorrow. If any of this video has been helpful for you, share it. And if you're a parent who has a kid in Gen Z, text them this video. They might appreciate it. Hey, thanks for watching. Appreciate your time. What other tips do you have for Gen Z? And if you have any questions for me, leave them in the comments down below. Thanks. Go live your best life.